Hello everybody and welcome to one more video on big units. This time it's not only World War II, it's in fact plenty of periods from ancient Egyptians to nowadays war in Ukraine. So I mean, this is not about big armies, it's in fact the way I store miniatures and miniature armies and tanks and infantry stands for several war game rules. First of all, I need to apologize for for 6 comments, very nicely, very sympathetic and very nice that people already made in the morning. I placed something like this that I'm now doing on the channel, but I filmed it very stupidly on the vertical way, so that thing was very bad. Now I'm doing it on the horizontal, so I'm very sorry, but the comments that were placed in the morning were erased together with the movie. So I'm making another one, okay? Which will be a quick thing. So the idea is to show a few people asked me all along this months, where do I store all this stuff? So you can see the way. In fact, I mean, I'm very lucky to have a relatively large basement that you can see here. That is part also of the collections. That is Sula, my dog, and she helps me. I mean, of course, sometimes cleaning brushes, and she brings me some reference books and things like that. She's very handy, so I have this basement, which is relatively large. This is my wargaming table, where I very rarely wargame, but okay. So more cabinets here, just for me to show you a little bit the generic situation of this basement. This basement has a problem, which is in fact this pillar, this column over there that you can see. It in fact it holds the house, because there are 2 more floors on top, which forces me to have my wargaming table here on one of the corners that you can see. Fortunately, there's still plenty of space for it. So I have this relatively open space here. There's also a corner here where I mostly keep as you can see, wargaming terrain. Okay, so I want to show you especially 2 or 3 ways that I have to store figures. For instance, let's start with this kind of stuff. These are in fact shop boxes from an art shop. These are in fact, let me see if this thing is written visibly. It is not, but it's written somewhere else in a few others. These are that kind of rotring boxes for samples, or even for showing the articles of rotring. I mean, pens and inks and things like that. So a friend of mine gave them to me, and they are very handy, quite nice, in order for figure or I mean vehicle and model storing, as you can see. So with some wood inside, you see some new shelves show up. Then I mean, they are very nice to open. They open like this, you see. An entire shelf can be taken with all vehicles or figures, whatever, inside. They can be taken out, and these are another type, you see, with several shelves, and then divided into small places. It comes already like this, and you can store plenty of stuff inside. So this is one of the types of cabinets, if you want, that I have. You can see them here, and you can see them, for instance, again here. Okay, on top. There are also some very big pieces of scenery here. So you can see, for instance, I mean, I hope you can see. There you can see rotring. You see, these boxes are very nice, and they hold plenty of stuff inside. Another thing that I do, for instance, here, there may be some 20 or so like this, which is in fact, they are in fact drawers. Drawers placed on the vertical way, then with some hinges, and then you can place whether plastic, acrylic plastic, or glass, and you have then of course wood inside with some ways for the wood to be hold. You see, iron pieces, sometimes kind of nails and things like that. I mean, there are plenty of ways for it that you can do it. It depends also on the material that you have around. So you can produce, I think, a relatively nice small cabin. Others are quite big. For instance, this is also an old drawer. I mean, there are plenty more around. Yeah, over there, you can see more and more. Then for instance, these ones have glass. You can see here the parts that pull the half doors, hinges over there. This is my part of the work, together with the shelves, of course. The rest is already, I mean, the structure that is around is already made, and it comes from very different origins. So this is the two main types of things that I use. Those rotting boxes, those this half this sorry this drawers turned vertical and turned into cabinets with plenty of shelves. Um, then another thing that I use, of course, is the very nice, durable, and transparent, which is my idea, because I like to show. I like not to show. I like to see my collection. You can see here the way I store figures. For instance, these are the Warlords 13.5 millimeter American Civil War, and I mean, you can place plenty of them inside one box. You can see here, for instance, World War II Russians, and you see, I mean, plenty of them inside several rows of boxes that you can store in the small differences between shelves. You can also stack them here like this. So again, for instance, if there is a piece of furniture that someone gives me, or that I bring from the top floors from the house, which is something that is already old, I turn them into cabinets. You can see them everywhere, like this. You see, I only place uh, sometimes new. For instance, this one doesn't have new shelves, but it was used for instance, for larger pieces of terrain, like you can see over there, for Arnhem, for Normandy. I mean, for several places, and even some LCI are over there. Also, some aircraft with their stands are also here. So, I mean, sometimes I can't place new shelves, because I mean, I need space for more vertical models. Again, something very old here, turned into an airport, as you can see. Again, another, I don't know what this thing was. I mean, it is quite deep, maybe 40 centimeters deep. And then some new shelves, some hinges, some acrylic plastic, and it's done. More shelves turned into small cabins for models. Again, the same. This is an original one. This was already something from a living room, something like that, but with much more shelves. So originally there was only these two glass shelves, but you can see a number of them added. This is also the same, still waiting for the glass or acrylic plastic. More acrylic plastic placed here, more acrylic plastic placed here, and this one here was already more or less like this. It had these are 28 millimeter figures. Majority of my collection is 20 millimeter, but I have some periods, like Waterloo, for instance, in 28 millimeter. You can see the French army here. You can see the British beginning here. They're still very small, but for instance, also the Prussian army already virtually made. Only the cavalry and artillery is missing, but infantry everything is here. Looking around for more stuff, most of my terrain is without protection. I mean, terrain is. I mean, I don't know if it is more easily cleaned, but I mean, somehow I don't know why I leave it. I leave it outside. But models which are more fragile, when they are cleaned with a large paintbrush, I mean, they tend to suffer a little bit from that process. So it's better to store them behind glass. So you can see almost everything here. You can see is covered by glass. But as you can also see, not expensive stuff, pretty cheap, old cabinets taken from verandas, from kitchens, from living rooms. You can see here clearly another drawer turned into a cabinet. Something also very old, coming, I think from a veranda or something like that. This is a true thing. I only have two of them. One here holds Syrian 15 millimeter division, and also the Sherman-based British tank division for Northwest Europe. Some extras for the American Civil War, and some Middle Age figures here, World War II and World War One. I mean, very different things. Still, a few things are also still in special figures inside boxes, because I still didn't find place for everything. There are around 60,000, figures and models, vehicles and aircraft, whatever, guns and things like that, artillery pieces. So not everything is possible to be protected by now. This is my Gettysburg armies, north here, the Confederacy over there to the south. I mean, of course, they were from the south, so they a little bit to the south. And I think it's more or less everything seen. A few things are still behind doors, like for instance these two Matchbox corvettes. One of them transformed into a destroyer of the Hunt class. I mean, not an exact model, of course. I also keep my models to be done here, my reserve, my stash. You can see here the aircraft over here. You can see figures, most of them placed inside plastic bags for them to withstand a little bit the light and the oxygen, because they can get ruined, as you know, especially by the light. So, and still plenty of things to be open. Still, there are a few more here that you can see. You can see here, for instance, my reserve of Lord of the Rings. Still plenty of stuff over there, and the tanks, which is something I do, as you probably have seen, all the time. So the reserve of tanks is not that big. It's here and a little bit here. And there are also, I mean, on my painting place, which is not this one, I still have a few more things as that can be called the immediate reserve. So this is the line of resistance number 1. There is a line of resistance number 2 in my painting place. If this was a battlefield, it would be something like this. Still a little bit of figures and aircraft here placed. I don't have place. I mean, as you can see, I make the things go vertical. You can see from this, for instance, from this thing here up to the top, everything is on top of each other, you see? So up to the ceiling. So I don't have, in fact, much place. What I'm finding is still some places where I can place some figures and some miniatures. So I make stuff in order to, when I'm doing things, I leave a little bit of space for the next ones to come. For instance, when an army is already done, so like for instance, like the French army of 1810 for the Busaco battle, Age of Eagles rules, British are here, and the Portuguese again, so a few French still, and some British. So it's also some American Civil War and some Napoleonics from other periods are also there. So when this thing is done, I mean, I call it done, and I leave no place. But there are always a few vacant places for the things that I know that I will have to do. There are always that kind of stuff. Still some place for this for the Africa Corps, which I always find new things to add, because it's a very interesting unit to be done, as you know. So a few more space for my American War of Independence. Mostly the militia Americans still have some space. I mean, the Ukrainians also have some space here, together with the Georgians. The Russian cabinet is already a little bit full, but there's still some space. You can also place some. You can place some additions here inside the Altair boxes. More drawers, as you can see. And this is the way I collect stuff. Bigger things are outside, like this aircraft carrier, the Minas Tirith that you can see over there, which is divided into small parts for the storage to be easier. Over there is Helm's Deep. You can see here Arnhem houses, desert houses here, and Omaha Beach here. The bridge of Arnhem is over there, you can see. So the Widerstands nests of Omaha are all here. And you can find also here the tiles, the boards, whatever you want to call it, that can enlarge my wargaming table, that still can grow a little bit. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 foot at the moment, 9 foot times 5, but it can grow a little bit larger because I organize my wargaming table with this kind of legs that you can find in art shops. Then some wooden, that I can show you, some wooden planks, but as they are separated from the next one, as you can see here. So it means that it can be enlarged, and these tiles don't need an entire surface to be leaning on. There can be, for instance, as you can see, you can have some space, so you can always enlarge a little bit this kind of table. Then there are a few nicer cabins that were meant exactly for this. Even so, I always add other shelves. And for instance, you can see here in this one, for instance, you can see here this cabinet and this cabinet here were bought, but for instance, they were only bringing, I think, 4 shelves. So you can see here a total of 6 shelves here, and a total of also 6 shelves here. So from 4 shelves it became 12. Because in fact, what you just need, you don't need much difference between shelves, because you just need to place your hand, as you know, to pick something from the end of the shelf, and so you need something like maybe 15 centimeters, 5 centimeters for the model if it's 20 millimeter, and then 10 centimeters for your hand to go inside, and it's more than enough. So you as you can see, a little bit, I know it's a little bit, someone in the morning wrote it's a little bit chaotic. It is true. Everything is on top of each other, but at the same time, you can store, even if the space is relatively big, you can store plenty of stuff by using old cabins, old furniture turned into cabinets, by using drawers turned upside down, turned vertical, and with shelves. Plenty of glass or acrylic glass to protect everything, and also those nice Rotring boxes that I mentioned you before. Then, I mean, of course, you need some big shelves for you to store what is to be done. It is to be done, plenty of stuff, and you have your hobby relatively saved. So I hope you have enjoyed, and well, see you soon with something else. Okay, it was a pleasure. Bye bye.